can't slow down. I can't slow down. I'm at the speed of light. At the speed of light. I'm at the speed of light. At the speed of light.
GR Corolla, so excited to finally be driving this thing. After all the hype, after everything that's happened in the car industry, Toyota has turned around, in my opinion. From Priuses on podiums at the LA Auto Show, all the way to 3 sports cars and their lineup, all with manual transmissions. Now, the GR Corolla, what makes it special? Well, it's got a 3-cylinder turbocharged engine with all-wheel drive. It has 300 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. Also, if you're wondering, it's a 1.6-liter 3-cylinder, so that's the displacement. It's an aluminum alloy block and heads with 12 valves, dual overhead cam. It has front and rear torsion limited slip differentials. The suspension is actually an independent McPherson type strut front suspension with independent double wishbone multi-link rear suspension. The brakes are ventilated discs that are 14-inch in the front and 11.7 in the rear. It has a ton of structural rigidity with 349 weld points. And there's 3 different versions of the GR Corolla. One is the Core, the next is the Circuit, and then there's the Maurizzo. And guys, they finally released pricing, and you might see a smile on my face because I'm gonna stop just to tell you guys that it's a good price. The Core is $35,900. The Circuit is $42,900, and the Maurizzo is $49,900. And what I love about GR's entire philosophy is that the cars are born on the track and not in the boardroom. Just a change in leadership at Toyota literally changed everything for the company in the enthusiast perspective. So with the all-wheel drive GR4 system, the power can be distributed in 3 different ways. You can have it front, which is a 60-40 split. You have a track, which is a 50-50 split, and then you have a rear, which is a 30-70 split. So if you want a little bit of that oversteer, you can do it. Gazoo Racing, I didn't really know much about until the Supra came out, the Mark V Supra, excuse me. And I was like, what is this? I need to look into the history of it. And I'm so glad that I did because Gazoo Racing has literally changed Toyota's image and it's fantastic. All right, here we go. First gear. So the 3-cylinder's aftermarket potential, and that's why a lot of you guys are here, is crazy. People have taken the GR Yaris and pushed 500 horsepower out of a 3-cylinder. That's the world we live in today. So another thing is manual e-brake. This manual e-brake, yes, in the right situation, does lock up the rear axle. So fun times. And this engine does not sound that raspy. I originally got a ride along with Ryan Turek a few months back and finally got to really hear what it sounded like. I was really expecting like a super raspy engine, but it's really not all that bad. On track, the GR Corolla delivers exactly what it says. It brings a hot hatch experience with a really unique power plant that I can't really describe what it's like, but it's weird to have such a small displacement engine that doesn't have a ton of turbo lag. Like that's second gear at the raw mile an hour. So this is a first gear roll on. So compared to say like the Civic Type R, this car does have a little bit more character with the engine. The engine feels a little bit more alive. I think the Type R engine is really great, but it just doesn't really feel like a Honda. This is a 100% Toyota car. That's another thing that a lot of people were super, super happy about. Those Michelin's doing their job. Freaking amazing. When this car was unveiled, the entire world kind of took a deep breath and lost their mind. I mean, the normal Corolla hatch, even that car in manual, is a pretty fun car to drive, even though it's just a daily driver commute. The thing is about the GR Corolla, with it being all-wheel drive and turbocharged 3-cylinder, feeling unique, it has a leg up on its competitors in almost every single way. Unique power plant. The Subarus, they've used the same power plants forever. If you could compare this to like a WRX, this is better than the WRX. I'm sorry, it just is. And the STI is gone. So the Corolla is kind of unchallenged because there's no Evo as well to take it on. There's no Focus RS to take it on. I feel like this car takes so many lessons learned from other platforms, other cars, and just literally leans into it and says, what can we make better? How can we make it unique? How can we make it different? So let's talk about the interior. It has a 12.3-inch display screen for its gauges. I love the gauges. It has everything you could possibly ever need. You have a turbo gauge, you got your track mode, or different driving modes. It's got the GR logo on it. It even has a gear selector in it. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is really nice to know in case, you know, you're kind of bogging down. You're like, that's not the right gear. I'm sure you're wondering, why is the price difference between the base model, or the Core, excuse me, and the Morizo such a big difference? Well, the Morizo literally feels like something else, dude. I really did not think the difference would feel that big, but it has a different gear ratio in it, more rigidity, and at the same time, it has no back seat. But man, that Morizo just feels so nimble. It feels amazing. Interesting. Okay, so at 60/40, you feel that little bit of front wheel drive push, like just a little bit. I'm not saying anything significant, but when you go around to slalom, you can feel it kind of push a little bit. I've spent most of my time in track mode because, you know, hot boy. Basically, track mode's the 50/50. Now let's do the rear mode. And by the way, it's as simple as turning a knob. Left is 60/40, right is 30/70, push down for track mode. That's simple. Not going through menus, nothing stupid, very simple. So the 30/70, the good thing is, oh, okay, so during that slalom, I turned in a little bit quicker to kind of see if the rear end would come around a little bit. Yes, it does. Not in a dangerous way, but just in a more little forgiving way. I'd say this would be really good for a really tight back road, like hairpins and stuff like that, to kind of bring that bias back there to get you some oversteer. The materials are very, very nice. For the money, everything is soft. Every single touch point is soft, except right around the gear selection. It's just this black plastic, but honestly, it feels nice. It doesn't feel really cheap. It's fine. And these seats feel the part, but they're not like the Focus RS's where the Recaros were so bulky and busted that a lot of people couldn't really fit in them. A lot more people are gonna be able to fit in these for sure. The back seat looks really nice as well. It's not one of those things where the front seats get really good treatment and the back seats are kind of just cheap back seats. Storage space is very good. Sound system is very good. The manual transmission itself is a nice, crisp throw. It's not too soft or too notchy. A lot of the times, let's say in a BMW, it'll have that really weird softness to it, in my opinion. This is just notchy enough, and the shifter's short enough. You don't really need a short shifter. You also have rev matching, but if you want to turn off rev matching, you can. You're going, third gear, and then I go down to second. That wasn't me. That wasn't me heel toeing. The steering wheel I really like. The spokes aren't too big and bulky. A lot of the times you'll do the Lego hands on new steering wheels and have to kind of rest your fingers on the back of the wheel. This, you have a great, fantastic grip. What I do like too is that with the GR Corolla, you can mix and match with the performance package. So if you get a Core with a performance package, you get a lot of the goodies from the Circuit Edition. So unlike some of the other brands right now in the JDM market where they charge like $10,000 for a limited slip differential, you probably know which car I'm talking about. That's great that Toyota's like, you know, not everybody's gonna go for the Circuit or the Morizo. And most people are probably gonna try and grab the Core and customize it themselves. And what I love about Toyota is that During their presentations, they always say, we're excited about the aftermarket. We're excited to see what people do with these cars at SEMA. We're excited about all these things and tuning capabilities. Nobody does that anymore. It's one of those things where people are like, don't touch their car. You need to bring it to the dealership no matter what. And that's why I really like Toyota's philosophy right now. They're encouraging their history of tunability, and or just cosmetic changes. All right, here we go. First gear. And flooring it. Real tight hairpin. Yup, so that's the rear giving out a little bit with the front biting. That's so weird. You have like 3 different cars in one. I love the fact that you can only buy this car in a manual transmission. They literally said, if you can't drive manual, too freaking bad. And that's also kind of what makes this car special in a lot of ways. It kind of reminds me of the S2000 back in the early 2000s when they said, yeah, no, this is the only one you get. We are not making this an auto. Deal with it. Learn how to drive manual if you really want this car. And it's usable. It's not just a sports car. It's a hot hatch that's usable. You can put stuff in the back. You can fit 4 adults in it. They released this car like lightning in a bottle. The timing was right. Toyota had gotten their sports cars back. The hype was real, and they're actually delivering on the car. Let's also talk about the triple exhaust ports. Now that seemed to confuse a lot of people and go, why is there a triple exhaust port? Well, it's mostly for flow, but also back pressure. The reason they have that is to reduce the back pressure and create more performance. What? You can hear that blow valve so much more with the window down. Listen to this. Here, I'll do it in first gear to get that. Yeah, buddy. All right, guys. Toyota Corolla GR, or GR Corolla, however you want to say it. If I did not have all the freaking project cars going on that I do right now, I would try to grab one of these, because this would be an amazing daily driver. What do you guys think of it? Put it in the comment section below. Honestly, this car, you couldn't go wrong. That's what I'm saying. It feels great. It handles fan-freaking-tastic, in my opinion. Depending on the driver mode, it's almost a preference thing, but I really like the 50/50 and the 30/70. Those are my 2 favorite modes. And when they were developing the Corolla GR, they kept saying, it's gotta be wider, it's gotta be meaner looking. So they kept widening it and gave it these aggressive hips. It is personally my favorite looking hot hatch of today. They knocked it out of the park, in my opinion, when it comes to looks, performance, everything. And on that note, I upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I will see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.